Hello, Empowered Warriors. Welcome to episode 17. In today's episode, I discuss the thing that I did that had the most profound impact on my life. If you're like most people, and the fact that you are a listener of this podcast, chances are you want those changes in your life so that you can not only have the freedom to live the life you desire, but also you most likely are also a heart-centered human being who wants to make an impact, right? Also, if you find this episode helpful in any way, or if you have any suggestions for topics for future episodes, connect with me on Instagram at IamAngelaNoel. And feel free to tag me with any aha moments or takeaways. So, warriors, stay tuned. Welcome to the Empowered Warrior Podcast. My name is Angela Noel, and I am an intuitive coach, acupuncturist, and Chinese herbalist. This podcast is all about empowerment, meaning how you can maintain your personal power in order to have the best life beyond your imagination. An empowered warrior is someone who has the identity of a person who is healthy, radiant, and free from all suffering, and has the tools ready and available to move through life's obstacles with confidence, ease, and a sense of freedom. In this podcast, I bring over 16 years experience in Chinese medicine, countless years of self-development, and a passion for helping others find their personal power. I will be discussing just a few of my favorite topics regarding health from a Chinese medicine perspective, brain habits, and spirituality, so that you can quickly pave your pathway to freedom and be free from the chains that have kept you stuck. My intention with this podcast is to serve as a guide for warriors who want to form a healthy foundation of body, mind, and spirit, and sustain it by changing who they are being from the inside and having a stronger connection to their higher selves. My goal is to help students end the unnecessary suffering that they place on themselves by having poor health habits, negative thought loops, and a lack of self-worth. I am so happy that you're here. Hello, Empowered Warriors. Again, welcome to episode 17. And as always, I am so grateful to have you as a listener. When I started this podcast, my intention was all about impact. Meaning, if I could impact just one life by getting this message out there, then I have succeeded. It may not be obvious at this point that change happens when we change. And by change, I am talking about the change from the inside, changing our identities so that we can form life habits that match those identities. And since I'm talking about changing your identity, in a moment, I want to talk about something that has been super impactful in my life. In this podcast, I really try not to discuss too much of my personal life, because that's not really what this podcast is about, unless I think it's something that will be super impactful for you. And if I feel that my story will help you in some way. As you may or may not have been a listener for a while, I'm not sure where you're coming on to this podcast, but you may have picked up some hints that my life has done a complete 180 in the past few years. I closed my Boston acupuncture practice, opened a new one 10 minutes away from my home, and began living my dream by starting an online business on the side. And then more recently, I closed my local acupuncture office to completely live my dream of being an online entrepreneur. For those listening, you might be saying, okay, Angela, I get it. You closed your office, you work online, you discuss that like all the time. So what? And while you might be listening and thinking that I'm sounding like a broken record or that it wasn't that big of a deal to do all those things, the reality is that the amount of inner work that was required of me to do those things was pretty major. This is not the platform for me to go into all of my shadows or my self-worth issues or my money issues. But you can probably imagine, if you've ever done anything really scary and risky before, whatever that might be, that it takes getting a huge taste of discomfort and, frankly, doing it anyway. Okay, so let me get to the point. I know, right? It's like, Angela, get to the point already. So first of all, I am a little reluctant to say what I'm about to say because I realize that this statement might be met with some sensitivity in my audience. And I want to honor and respect everyone's feelings. However, this information is huge and needs to be shared. This information has been a game changer in my life, and I have evidence of it not only for myself, but for other people I personally know who have been on this path. So as you probably know, if you're listening to this episode around the time that it was recorded and released, during this last portion of the transition that I just mentioned with moving out of Boston, moving into a local office, etc., during this last portion of the transition, with coronavirus going on and everything else, I have to say that I have been at peace. Seriously, I have. You can ask my mom. I'll give you her phone number. Just kidding. She would probably kill me. But really, warriors, I have not felt stress. I don't get carried away with politics, not anymore. I used to, but not anymore. The anxiety that I used to identify with has not been an issue. I am in flow. I am happy. I feel at ease with everything, no matter what happens or what is going on in the world. And as a result, I started this podcast. I got many exciting projects in my business going, and financially, I feel the most secure about money than I ever have. My self-worth is high. I speak my truth publicly, even if I fear backlash. And honestly, I truly don't care what anyone thinks of me. Now, you may be saying at this point, Angela, this just simply isn't possible. I don't believe you. And I understand. In some ways, it seems impossible even when I just read that. How can a human being possibly feel at peace and at ease all the time? But I'm wondering if you could invite yourself to let your guard down by simply closing your eyes, and please don't do this while driving, and take a few deep cleansing breaths. And for those who are driving, just please stay alert and make a note to come back to this exercise when you are in a space where you can relax. So once you feel relaxed and into the breathing, ask yourself this question. What is causing me to believe that being at peace is not possible? You might want to put your hand on your heart and imagine yourself asking your heart or envisioning your higher self sitting next to you or above you or wherever he or she may be that makes the most sense to you. And just wait. Wait softly and openly and invite that answer in. Once you are completely at ease, you may start to notice that the information will just flow right in. And your question, more likely than not, will be answered by your higher self. And at this point, if you are still skeptical, you may try to resist what comes back to you. But honestly, when you are connected to your higher self, the truth will come in. During this exercise, I invite you to keep a journal close by and write down whatever comes up. Write it, even if it sounds weird or strange or illogical. Keep going. Stay in the flow and do this exercise repeatedly, and you will be amazed at how much wisdom you have within you. Okay, so apologies, I got a little diverted, which is kind of what happens when I'm preparing these episodes. I just have to laugh at myself and share this with you because a few sentences ago, I was talking about being in flow. And the thing with being in flow is that sometimes what I plan to say and what I actually talk about are completely different. Or I end up adding random journaling exercises into the script because it feels like the right thing to do at this time. So thank you for going through that little exercise with me. And my intention is that you find it really insightful. So in addition to the journaling, you may or may not have heard me talking about all of my rituals. I need to share with you the big banana, the Mac Daddy, la creme de la creme, the icing on the cake, the thing that I did that really and truly changed my life. And yes, I have done all the things that you hear about that are good for you. I exercise, I meditate, I eat well. And, I also use crystals and oracle cards, the stuff when it comes to spiritual practices. But what profoundly caused the shifts, the breakthroughs, and they are still happening today, by the way, and all the transformation was when I discovered my coach and my mentor, Jim Fortin. First of all, I'm going to be 100% in integrity by being 100% transparent with you. That was a lot of 100s. First of all, yes, I am an affiliate for Jim. Yes, I do receive commissions from him if someone signs up for his programs if I tell them about it. But also, yes, I only support businesses and companies that I have personally used and truly believe in. And Jim, other than my Amazon affiliate account that I never used, is the first person I've ever endorsed. And I believe in his work so much that I am promoting him on my podcast when I could easily talk about my own programs. However, I feel so strongly about how I personally changed, how I've remained calm in 2020 and dealt with my mental health while skyrocketing my business. And all the while, I've just been feeling so alive and more aligned than ever. But this is actually not even a plug to buy something. What you are going to soon discover is that you will have the opportunities to transform by working with Jim for free. So starting on Thursday, September 3rd, Jim will be holding his free Be Do Have series. He holds it only twice per year and always has thousands of participants in it, many of them having big breakthroughs during the sessions. There will be 3 talks, as well as homework. Yes, homework. And a very interactive private Facebook group. And trust me, warriors, even though it's free, Jim could easily charge for this course. It is still a high quality course that, if you do the work and participate, you will get results out of it. But seriously, don't take my word for it. Sign up for the Be Do Have series, show up, do the homework, and discover it for yourself. If you are like many people, you are at a point in your life where you crave change. You may have tried many things at this point, including courses and coaching programs, and you still haven't seen the changes. I totally get that. For me, I had a pretty good life. I was self-employed, made a decent living, I had a lot of friends, but I knew in the deepest area of my heart that I wanted more. I wanted to make an impact in the world, and I wanted to be compensated abundantly for the work that I do in the world. I also knew that deep down, I didn't have the life I wanted because there was something within me that was holding me back. So I'm curious, wouldn't you like to have a continued sense of calm, no matter what is going on in the world? So much so that you can get out of your own way and have the business of your dreams? Wouldn't you like to start attracting your worth because you are seriously radiating so much that you are unstoppable? Wouldn't you like to have the life that is in your dreams so that finally you can call the shots, make the money, and have an impact on the world? What if you could have the dream business, for example, without ever again having to endure unnecessary suffering that we as humans place upon ourselves with those big old egos? Okay, and as I say all of these things, warriors, I realize that perhaps I'm not being 100% transparent with you. Earlier on, I said that I have been at peace at all times. What I did not mention is that yes, I still have my tough days. I still encounter shadow moments. I still have days where I just don't believe in myself. But here's the difference. Because of all the inner work that I've done with Jim, I don't spend much time there anymore. I don't go there anymore. I'm not saying that I don't allow myself to feel. I don't get caught up in toxic positivity that everybody's talking about. I've learned to feel my emotions. I cry. I have days where I feel like I'm trudging through the mud. I'm not claiming to be some kind of supernatural being that has abandoned her human experience. But please realize that this work will transform your life. It will make you abundant. It will open up so many doors for you simply because you've stepped into your power. But I do know that this work is not for everyone. Not everyone is serious about changing their lives or is committed enough to do this work. Simply stated, many people don't want to change. They say they want the outcome, but when it comes down to it, they really don't want to change. The fact that you're still listening to this episode tells me that you are one of those people who does want to change. And if that's true, then I am so excited for you. You have the incentive, the desire, and the drive to have the life that you want. So, warriors, that is it for today. But before I close, I want to mention one last thing that may or may not resonate with you. Like you, I was hungry. I wanted financial independence. I wanted to make a difference in the world. As you'll soon discover if you sign up for the Be Do Have series, there is no need to desire anything when you are in alignment. Because, like many people who are successful, they will tell you that they didn't arrive to success until they change themselves from the inside out. And before I forget, my team will link up all the information you will need to sign up for the Be Do Have series in the show notes. I will also include some of my favorite podcast episode of Jim's and any other information that I think that you'll find useful. So I really hope to see you there at the Be Do Have series, warriors. Bye for now. Thank you so much for listening to the Empowered Warrior podcast. It is an honor and a privilege to have you as a listener. If you've enjoyed listening to this podcast and would like to help others pave their pathway to freedom, end their disempowerment and suffering, and become an empowered warrior, please share this podcast with your friends and family. Also, it is my intention to help humanity grow and evolve to their highest potential. So if you really enjoy what you're hearing, please help me spread the word by leaving a review in iTunes. Thank you again, and I am so grateful to be able to serve you in this very exciting way.